All right, mate. You all right?
You right? How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. I've got a coffee.
Oh,
I am happy. Yeah. How is your I was just how's your face? It looks very
my
furry.
my. So I woke up reasonably recently. Not washed, not done my beard. My hair is atrocious. I'm about to go for a haircut today.
Yeah,
I
you
look
are.
like I've basically woke up underneath a bridge under the A140. Realised my life's utter shite. And then you've messaged me and gone, "Hey mate, I know things are a little bit shit at the moment, but you fancy going back to that place that you called home and hopping on a podcast."
You know that thing that you're paying for a mortgage on,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
don't need, mate. You have a full-time job. You don't need to be sleeping under a bridge.
yeah. I know, but it's just it's comfortable. This beard is I look more furry than Fozzie Bear and the Muppets, mate. And
I
that's
I've had
made
to
up.
shave mine. I've got rid of mine.
And you're looking all the better. Well, you're not all the better. You look amazing, whatever you do.
Look,
Oh,
my hair's growing.
look at the hair on that.
Look,
Oh,
it's
wow,
growing.
why are you keeping that under a cup? Look at this.
Just so I could do that. It
Oh,
was just so I could do that. Literally, just
wow.
so I could take the hat off and just be like, "Sup?"
And what's even more devastating to me is that because we've decided to open the podcast primarily about talking how we look like, so you're about to fuck me right over by creating a reel where this has got to be made public. This
It
look
has to
has
now.
got to be made public.
This is
Is
a
awful.
moment for our dear listener to
Jesus
visually see
Christ.
what the heck is going on with you right now, so they can
They
empathise with the situation.
they're going to be like, "Holy shit!" This I've listened to some podcasts, I've seen some randoms, but hey, what fucking mess is that?
They're gonna like do a welfare check on you, mate.
They are, mate. They are. Maybe this is the opportunity where we start selling shit
I think
for £5. For £5 a month, you can help me not look like I've just been pulled from a hedge after a stag night in Budapest.
tell you what, if you own like a men's grooming company,
It's just the perfect.
send us a DM. We might, if you want a bit of a sponsorship deal with us, you know, Forrest might need it, so we're okay with that. Yeah, we're open to suggestions.
Oh my god. Anyway, what are we what are we doing today, Matt?
I think well we're cracking on. The phase 3 train quite seriously doesn't stop because we've still got some other movies to talk about, and there's a certain sequel that comes unfortunately straight after what would arguably probably most Marvel, fans would say is the best MCU movie that
Mm,
has currently come from all timelines, and all phases. Um,
yeah.
we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Here we are.
Here we are.
This we've
Okay.
arrived. We've arrived post Infinity War, post the longest podcast we've ever
Yeah.
done, the most amount that we had to go through in a podcast, to a podcast now, quite frankly, which could be, hopefully not, the shortest podcast we do. Um, but before we reveal any thoughts on this film, let me gain your ears, Matt.
Oh, go on.
Pull your attention towards the laptop and let me just provide you a synopsis
The way that you're selling this is sounds quite sexual. Let me just slide in
just
with a little summary.
just remove all your clothes. Make yourself comfortable, man, and listen. What's this furry beast? Reveals what we're about to talk about. So here we go. Scott Lang is grappling with the consequences of his choices as both a superhero and a father. Approached by Hope Van Dyne and Dr. Hank Pym, Lang must once again don the Ant-Man suit and fight alongside the Wasp. The urgent mission soon leads to secret revelations from the past as the dynamic duo finds itself in an epic battle against a powerful new enemy.
You know what? That sounds better than what the film actually was.
Yes. Two things strike me from that synopsis. One thing, powerful new enemy. The sheer fact that they don't even divulge the name of said enemy, and they use such generic words as powerful, really kind of.
Well, you've got Mad Titan, Thanos, powerful, and then you've got Ghost.
At this point, having watched the film, who knows? And also the other thing that strikes me is how, and I didn't think about this during the movie, and I haven't thought about it since. How ludicrous the names of the people are in this film. Apart from Scott, you've got Hope Van Dyne.
Sounds like Van Dyke, Dick Van Dyke,
Dyke, and Dr. Hank Pym. I mean, what are these names?
They are quite hilarious.
Yes, that's two things that strike me from this powerful synopsis.
Do you know? Okay, right. Deep breath in, Matt. And out. I really tried to enjoy it.
For 5 minutes.
I really did, and I'm not joking. Like the first time I watched it, I do remember watching this. I didn't go to the cinema to watch this one. I don't think. I don't have any memory going to the cinema to see this. So when I saw it, was when it first came out on release, and I had a mate over, and we ended up just getting distracted with our conversations. We were just talking. And the next thing we did, we turned back to the TV, and the film's finished. Like there was nothing gripping us, absolutely nothing gripping us about this movie. And the first comment that I've put down in my notes is, why is this straight after Infinity War?
Yes. Yeah.
What is? I genuinely, if you're listening, K-Dog, or anybody that has any knowledge on this, dear listener, if you know why Ant-Man and the Wasp was after Infinity War, pray do tell, because I'm just bemused by it.
And for me, it's not even if there was I'm assuming there was a reason, right? There was a reason they went, right, we're gonna pop this straight after Infinity War. I really, really would have expected and thought that even after filming all of it, right, editing it, putting it together, surely someone at Marvel watched that and thought, fucking hell. Fucking jeez. And they went, right, team, we're not putting that out, certainly at this point, if at all, right? Marvel have got the money to scrap a film. I'm not saying, okay, I won't say maybe it's not scrappable, but certainly to put it out of this straight after Infinity War. Because the thing, ultimately, Matt, what we'll pick up on is that there's no need. There's only 2 minutes of this entire film that segue into anything remotely you can bring Endgame into.
Exactly. This is the thing. The tie-in to Infinity War, Endgame, the snap doesn't happen till the end credits.
For 2 seconds. And that's bolted on.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, hang on a minute. If you've bolted that on and you still feel that this is necessary after Infinity War,
there must be a reason. There must be a tactical reason. I don't know. Is it because Infinity War was just so massive that the project was huge? They probably with their testing audiences, they knew it was going to be a massive hit. They knew it was going to have such big eyes on it for a while. Then whatever will come next will take a fall, will take a hit, and it won't be as successful. So maybe they knew that the sequel to Ant-Man and the Wasp is that film to just be placed there to develop their characters and their stories first, going into Endgame, and then
Mm.
just tie it in with an end credit sequence, and then we introduce Captain Marvel. I mean,
Maybe,
because maybe I don't know.
yeah, and you raise a good point because actually, is it the opposite? Is it that what I said is correct? They made the
Yeah,
film, edited the
yeah,
film, realised it was pants, and they went, "Shit, we need to put this at a point where it's going to get any attention."
yeah,
So actually, it might be the opposite. Maybe it was never supposed to be after Infinity War. They realised how terrible it was. Thought, fuck me, we need to actually we're not going to get any viewership. Let's bung it after one of the most popular films we know is going to be popular. Show it in so people go, oh well, watch that because no matter how bad a trailer might seem, it's gonna loop into the snap. So we're gonna go and watch it. And then they've gone, oh yeah, well, we're gonna have to loop this in somehow, guys. Let's put a 2 minute scene at the end of it, bowl that on.
yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe it's actually the opposite. Is that this wasn't supposed to ever feature.
Yeah. With those are our thoughts, but what does Rotten Tomatoes say, mate?
Rotten Tomato. So Rotten Tomato for okay. So tomato meter. So this is the critics rating. What do you think? Are you on it, Matt, or have you not seen it?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, so what do you believe the critics rating might be for this?
I'm I'm gonna say they're probably giving it like 72.
72%. And
Yeah,
what for you? Would that be quite high, or
too.
is
That's
it quite
too
low?
high. I
Too
don't
high.
know.
Too high. I am about to make your day incredibly shite. They've given this 87%.
On the basis of what?
Well, we'll find out. I'll read a review after this.
Okay.
So 87%. What do we think the audience score is for this?
Yeah. In the let's say 74.
74%. Audience score for this 80%.
Okay.
Who is watching this movie?
Is it just us? Are we being overly? Are we being really harsh? Are we?
I, d-
Am
I,
I?
d-
I don't.
I don't think so. This is the first ever time I've watched this. Right, I never watched Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's the first time I watched this, and on it, I don't get it. We'll outline the reasons very shortly as to why
Yeah.
I really don't understand how this could be any good. But this is let me pluck out. What I wasn't laughing at, I was smiling at. That's the film's greatest strength. It's feel goodness. That
It's feel goodness.
apparently that's what gives it a fresh tomato.
Is it a feel good? I don't. There are moments of comedy. There are moments. The moments I did enjoy were the moments where the film allowed Paul Rudd to be Paul Rudd.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those kind of like cutaway sequence moments. There were montages of Paul Rudd just doing funny things, funny lines. I think he brought out much more comedy in this movie than the first one. But
Interesting you say that. I th-
but
I found the opposite.
Oh,
But
really interesting. Because
interesting.
I think because obviously we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania coming out in February in a few weeks' time, and you can see by the trailers that it's going to be a very different tone for
Mm,
Paul Rudd to play and for Scott Lang's character as well. So we're gonna see some more serious tones. We're gonna see some proper like you know almost Endgame-esque stuff for Scott Lang.
mm.
So I'm interested to see that. But yeah, no, I thought there was just far more comedy.
Interesting. It's you're in line with the other ratings. So charming, entertaining adventure that doubles down on what made the original a hit without losing sight of its light spontaneity.
Yeah.
Was next best picture. We've got who else we got on the reviews? Enemy said silly, low stakes, highly entertaining fluff. What?
Okay,
What?
okay. So if you're saying highly entertaining fluff,
Yeah.
what? How does that? How is that a compliment?
How is that a fresh tomato?
Yeah.
That's absolutely absurd. We've got a not as good review. Here we go. What have we got from the not as good reviews? Not only do all of the antagonists provide their own comedy moments, even making light of a potentially daunting torture scene, but so too do all of the background parts. Okay. With one notable exception, the entire film appears to be completely inconsequential to the rest of the MCU, which may leave some die-hard fans a little disappointed. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, let's go. Let's get into it. So I messaged you immediately after watching it, saying that this should have been and could have been a good movie. I think and the basis what I mean by that is that you have the right actors, you have the right performers, you've got the right cast. In
Yeah.
terms of casting, everything's great. You're introducing, is it Lawrence Fishburne? You're the actress that plays Ghost, is it Hannah?
Hannah John Carmen. Yep.
Yep, she's brilliant, and she's come up from a lot of TV shows as well, and she's a fantastic performer. So when she was cast originally, I was like, "Oh, cool, okay, this is nice, this is new,"
Yeah.
and I was interested by it. The thing where it falls short is the plot, the story.
Yes.
It's so fucking weak. It's so weak, and shouldn't be, because ultimately you've got a story where somebody is stuck in the quantum realm, but the problem is that we as the audience don't really understand fully the threat and what the quantum realm means. So when you're trying to do a rescue mission and bring somebody back from there, we don't actually understand what kind of danger she's in.
Also, the main. So I put instantly. So this brand new. I've never seen this film. My first thought was instantly, what the fuck? Why would the audience care about bringing his wife back?
Exactly.
Easily the weakest point of the first Ant-Man film was the obsession about Hank Pym's wife, who
Yeah.
we barely ever meet, barely ever see, nothing to do with the wider MCU. So why would we be interested in her? And certainly, why would you therefore create a sequel where the entire plot is surrounded by a character we saw for 2 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's the thing, like, we get the flashbacks, don't we, with Pym, with the Pyms, Mr. and Mrs. Pym, doing doing their missions together. She has to go subatomic. I can't say it properly, but she goes small, and then she falls into the quantum realm. And they knew the dangers. She knew what she was doing, and then from that moment, she is lost. And then the thread, obviously, with Hank Pym, and the reason why what he's doing probably is to always bring her back, but it's not really fully explained until he goes, "Oh no, I really want her back," from after in the first movie. But they really do focus on Hope and her relationship with her mother, and the emotional attachment that she wants to bring her mum back, and that's all fine. But again, she's lost in the quantum realm. We don't understand as an audience really what the dangers of the quantum realm is. We are currently following the story of this mad titan who's trying to take out half of the universe. That's the main threat right now.
Yeah.
So we just I don't know then, like, I'm not saying there should have been Kang, right, in the quantum realm, but if we've got MODOK, if we have somebody else in the quantum realm, that could be a threat to what's her name? It's not Hope's mum. Janet. So for Janet's character, there needs to be more of a threat, of being in the quantum realm. Maybe we needed to see some more scenes of her in the quantum realm, being under threat, being under siege. Because, oh, mate, look, I don't know what the quantum realm sounds like. It might be a nice little holiday home. She might have a lovely little time in there. She might be building her new life. What if they went into the quantum realm and Janet's there? She's met like this weird quantum bug and got married, and they've got quantum bug children.
She's sunbathing,
and it just
having a whale of a time.
It just turns into then a Rick and Morty episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like nothing
100%.
was really told. And I've got another massive gripe, but I'm just going to let you talk.
Only the one? Only the one massive gripe?
No, another. Another.
I 100% agreed. Absolutely, the whole plot is fucking absolutely insane as to why anyone would give a crap about any of it. It's just Janet Van. So it's Janet and Janet Van Dyne. Did you say Janet or Jane?
Janet.
Janet, you did say Janet. And it, like I say, we see her for 2 seconds in the previous film. I've got no interest in Janet. I've got very little interest in Hank.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like my focus needs to be on Ant-Man.
Scott.
Scott. That's the whole. Surely that's why I'm watching an Ant-Man film.
Yeah.
And dare I say it, The Wasp. Right. Very very little hope to be. Well, not very little, but not as much hope as I would like for an Ant-Man and the Wasp. Doesn't feel like a team up movie.
No, and they didn't really build up the reveal of Hope becoming Wasp very well. It kind of got crossed over into different movies, and it just got all a little bit lost. And I think the focus was a bit shifted away from Scott Lang as well, which is a shame. Because, and this is the thing, right? So one of my other gripes is, why did Hank and Hope decide to go and rescue their mum at a point where Scott Lang is literally a few days away from finishing his house arrest? Why couldn't they wait? What was it, 3 days did he have left of his house arrest? Why couldn't they just wait 3 days?
Well, because they'd clearly only been waiting a few fucking years up to that point. So 3 days would be too long.
Exactly.
Too long.
But there's no justification. If that's the case, fine. Then there needs to be a reason why you have to do it now.
Yeah.
There's no. What's the threat? Is it because somebody's going to come and take your tech? Is it because this ghost character is going to come and things like what's the decision to go and get Scott Lang right now while he's still under house arrest is not explained very well at all.
Theory.
Go.
There was a deleted scene.
Yeah.
That explained why. They realised that the explanation would therefore come to bite them when we get to Kang Quantumania. Because I can see that there might be a deleted scene where they're like, we only have so long in the quantum realm, or we only have so long to go there, which they knew they wouldn't be able to. That would be a completely broken plot when they get to phase 5.
Yes, maybe.
It's the least I can. It's the smallest way I can try and give any credit to the people involved.
Is there nothing in that book of yours? Nothing in that wonderful little book of yours?
There isn't. They omitted this film with the book, which is quite telling to say the least. Should we
include it? No.
Yeah. They thought, well, the film kind of tells you everything there is really, because it's got absolutely nothing to do with anything else in the MCU. So, Peter, we'll just give this one a miss, mate. Yeah.
Give it a miss.
But annoyingly, neither is Captain Marvel for next week. So we've got to wait till Endgame until this pretty little book is brought back.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That was good one. But can I? What was your other gripe? You had another gripe, or did you? Just
that was it. The other gripe was that, but there are others, mate. But yeah, you carry on.
Before, what should we do? Should we? Okay, let's jump to, because we're on story at the moment, aren't we? So let's
Yeah.
talk about Ava. Let's talk about Ghost. Let's talk about Ava, and we've also got to talk about oh my god, the other character that was looped with Ava. Ava, who's
Oh,
not on this cast list.
Lawrence Fishburne, Bill Foster.
Yes, yes, Bill Foster.
Bill
Yeah, there he
Foster.
is. Yeah, Bill Foster.
Yes.
What? Why?
I
I
know.
I still do not fully understand what it was about.
So I mean,
So
the motive for her
it was absurd.
was, but it was so cardboard cut out though, wasn't it? Like
Yeah,
it's a revenge story again. A
yeah,
villain is being built by their parents being killed by the person that they work for. Da, 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 da. And it happens again when we introduce Mysterio. It happens before in other movies with this cardboard cutout just doesn't work. No, I say it doesn't work. It wasn't needed.
I know, but also it feeds into your critique of the other plot, right? Which is why now?
Why
Unless
now?
I'm wrong, there was no reason why Ava chose now.
No.
The only thing was she had this weird thing where she was dissolving all over the place.
Yeah, she was
So
she there was I think the one thing that I think Ant-Man movies try to put through is this kind of threat of time, right?
yeah,
And you do see it. So, one of my gripes is why do they decide to go and get, Scott Lang out of, house arrest at that moment? Why couldn't they just wait 3 days? That's time related. So there might, hopefully, mate, that might get explained in the next movie. But with Ava, it's time sensitive. She's losing herself. She's losing potential existence from what she's feeling, and she plays, and this is a credit to her in her performance. I think she plays the pain and the anguish of her character really, really well. It just again, but the her as the villain, as somebody that should be a threat, isn't there. There's almost too much vulnerability in a way.
yes, yeah, and yeah, and I just found the Hannah, the actress, and Lawrence playing Bill. I just found they were just weak. It
Yeah.
was really weak characters, weak acting. But probably because the writing was weak.
Yeah.
I imagine they had a zero to work on. So
Mate,
it's the same.
it's the thing, like, you've got a great cast. You've got, obviously, Paul Rudd. Evangeline Lilly is so good. Michelle Pfeiffer, she's a legend, as is Michael Douglas. You've got Lawrence Fishburne being introduced into it as well. And tell you what, the one performance I got really, really excited about, and I got really excited about the premise of them being in the MCU as well, was Walter Goggins, who plays
Mm.
Sonny Birch in the movie.
Just having a look. Oh yes.
But he's such a good actor. Been in so many TV shows, been in so many kind of like, it's like one of those grafting actors that are literally, they pop up in literally everywhere.
He's got a very unique face.
Such a unique face. Sons of Anarchy, so good in Sons of Anarchy. Django Unchained as
Who
well.
does he
is one
play in
particular.
Sons of Anarchy?
He plays.
What, he's in Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah. He
Oh,
plays.
let me have a look at this. This is the side plot of the podcast.
What's the character's name? He plays.
Oh,
He plays a trans actor.
Yes. Oh my god. I totally didn't know that was. Yes, he is fucking insane in Sons of Anarchy. Oh,
That's so good. Anyway,
really?
I just get with going back to Ava. I just get the motive of her revenge story on getting Pym's tech to save herself is there, but the introduction to Lawrence Fishburne and him feeling guilty about what happened and then promising to go, look, let me help you. I'm going to help you cure yourself, with this. isn't strong enough.
Mm.
I would have rather seen Sonny Birch be the millionaire, billionaire, middleman, but the actual the antagonist that maybe
Yeah,
has
yeah,
Ghost. Ghost could be like the hired gun
yeah.
to
Mm.
Sonny Birch. Then we understand a little bit of why Ava's like almost a vigilante instead of just like an outright villain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It just wasn't there wasn't enough weight with Ghost as a villain at all.
I'm gonna go for one of my main gripes in this film. Randall Park, who plays Jimmy Woo,
Mm-hmm.
literally the most irritating character on almost any film I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I'm just,
yeah,
it's just, it was, it was there for laughs, but wasn't funny,
yeah,
and him constantly popping up, but making no difference to anything. Like I was just, it's just because it primarily wasn't funny. So I think that's why it was
yeah.
just like I was like I'd far more be inclined to have far more Luis in this
Mm-hmm.
by a long stretch,
Yeah,
right? I his part completely grinded on me. And also the police element is probably the most serious bit, right? So I was like, well, I'd rather just have a serious cop that keeps irritating Ant-Man, irritating Scott. That would be more funny because if you got Scott taking the piss out of the police and you got the police being ultra serious, that those opposites attract quite well.
yeah.
Whereas having some weird comedy trope police officer with a comedy Scott. It just didn't
It doesn't. Yeah, that's true.
doesn't work.
Yeah,
Like, well, where's the comedy at? Because they're both
yeah.
trying to out comedy each other. I'm like, no, you got to have serious and then comedy. That works.
I think. I mean, I did like the certain lines I think they had together when they first met. I think with is it Wong? Is it Wu? It was Wu, isn't it?
Jimmy Woo, yeah, yeah.
Jimmy Woo. So with Jimmy Woo being introduced as well, like being obsessed with being with the magic trick that he did, and we're like, how did you do that magic trick? And he says it so seriously, and then there's this moment where you can kind of clearly see that there's this um, comedic and sustainable element to Jimmy Woo's character that the audience have immediately gone, he's brilliant. We need him to come back. Like when he
Yeah.
came back as a kind of like major play in WandaVision, it just
Yeah,
like so good.
but that writing was much better when he
Yeah,
returned. It's much better. This film was just I was just like, what is
yeah,
this? Like,
yeah.
it just didn't. I don't know. I really grinded for me those scenes. The a lighter bit that I did enjoy, was a very small, tiny bit. Was the use of Ant-Man's small to large life, larger than life. Oh my god, what am I trying to say? CGI, but all those action moments where he
Yeah,
turns into Ant-Man and he becomes large. I thought that bit where he becomes really large and then passes out in the water, that was quite an impressive feature bit.
yeah.
I quite like the ongoing thing with the lab where the lab shrinks.
Oh
Thought
yeah,
that was
I
cool.
quite like that. Did you notice as well that the lab was made up of like toy parts and
Yeah,
stuff? So there was
yeah.
like a Duracell battery in one area that was like powering one of their devices. There was bits of Lego that was stuck together as well that were made to use like office buildings and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But again, it was like it was super cool, and therefore they then started to overuse it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was great. It's like that first bit where Hank Pym like brings it down, and they just they just drive away, and like it's just so cool. That's awesome. And then they just keep using it, and I'm like, yeah, that was a good like gag or use of gag, and then you've kind of you've just overcooked it now.
Yeah, yeah,
By the
100%.
end, I'm constantly seeing this lab
Yeah.
because well, mostly
So we're-
Ghost keeps nicking it.
But it almost becomes a little bit farcical, doesn't it? Because it's just a chase for this building that gets shrunk, and then people are holding it like some sort of like it's like one of those architecture planes that you build. You know, you're just like you're
Yeah,
carrying it around, and then it expands in the middle of a street, and then you shrinks down again, and it just becomes this kind of almost like Tom and Jerry esque kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
There's and mate, and to be honest, that is the plot, isn't it? But like with the characters you've got around it, you've got a lot of comedic dynamics in Luis and his mates. You've got Scott Lang, who is a funny character. You've got moments where Jimmy Woo now, another comedic character, is being thrown in. There's not enough real truth in certain characters or real seriousness. But then you've got Hank Pym, Hope Pym, that are playing something quite seriously, but it doesn't fit around this what is effectively a comedy movie. What it feels like it is, but it's trying not to be.
The story with any punch to it is a really crap story that makes almost no sense. So I'm like, so even the bits so another bit, right, that I made a note on. So at the end, we get Janet comes out of the rat. She comes back to the normal world, shall I say? Whatever. They're reunited, and then Janet meets Ava.
Yeah.
And there is the weirdest scene where, like, Janet describes how Ava's hurting, and she's like there, like cradling her face. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Does any of this make any sense? Unless I missed something radical, I don't know why that was there.
Yeah, there's a lot of these moments. There's just a lot of these moments. I think
It's not like she's her mum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the tenderness of the moment was as if we were about to have some breaking news where Janet had bloody bonked off with her dad, and it turns out she's her mum. Like, that's the only reason for a tenderness scene.
Or she reveals she's got some quantum babies. This is my quantum family.
Yeah.
Some little like blob turns up, comes out of the quantum realm. This is my husband. this is my husband, Beelzebub.
Hello, I'm the Beelzebub from the realm. Hello.
Oh, this is your brother-in-law.
That would have been genuine comedy.
That would have been a choice. That would have been a choice, and it would have served the comedy. Yeah,
a choice, and it would have also provided some additional plot for the threequel. That's
moving on to, I'd say, Janet, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah. I think they chose the right actress for the role. I think Michelle Pfeiffer holds the acting chops with legendary status. However, we don't get enough. We don't get enough time with her, and I don't think I know the reason why we didn't get much time in the quantum realm is because we're about to have it as the main thing in the next phase as we go into Ant-Man and Quantumania. But like, we needed something. We either needed more backstory, more moments in the past, or maybe they couldn't afford all that CGI that they quite brilliantly done. I think in terms of they de-aged Michelle Pfeiffer and it's Douglas, isn't it? It's Douglas. It's Michael Douglas, isn't it? It is Michael Douglas, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they de-aged
it's Michael
them.
Barrymore. What are you talking about? Wrong Michael, mate. It's Barrymore. It's Michael Barrymore. Douglas. Yeah.
Douglas. When they de-aged them, they did that really well. So it might have been quite an expensive thing to do. So maybe they couldn't afford to do these backstories more. But like, again, there just wasn't enough reason for her to come back. Fair enough, she's lost, and you think that she can come back, and all that story's there. But there needs to be some sort of, again, maybe a time-related thing that needed to be explained. She needs to get out, because if she doesn't get out, then she'll never be found again. Or she's literally got Earth minutes before she dissipates in forever, or something like that. Or we see her in pain, we see some struggle from her, because when we see her, she's like kitted up like she's out of a fallout shelter, and she's like, "You all right? Yeah, how you doing? It's good to see you. Yeah." Like, oh, you coming to get me? Yeah, all right, great.
And there's no moment there of like love and reunion. Well, she shares more of a love moment, like a loving moment with fucking Ava.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right,
She's like, oh, it's nice to see you, Hank. Have you come to
Yeah.
get me? Yeah, about fucking time, mate.
Yeah, hello, Hope. What are you fucking me up to? Oh, you post GCSE, lovely, yeah. Oh, Ava, I can see you hurting. Come to me, my darling.
What was that moment, though?
That's what I just said. That's what I was just talking about.
I
Did you
know. No,
Yeah.
no, I know.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm
I
just saying,
thought you just.
I'm
thought you just.
reinforcing it.
Thought you totally just missed everything I
No.
said. Yeah, what was that moment about? Yeah.
Yeah, like I've had like temporary amnesia.
Yeah, you know what I bloody hate? The moment where Ava meets Janet. Oh, my.
It is like, you know, I think there's this. I think I think we're going to get more of Michelle Pfeiffer's story, of Janet's story.
Do you think so, though?
We've
don't
got
know.
to. Well, they're going back to the quantum realm. She's going to be like, oh, you're right. She's going to see Kang. She's going to be like an old flame.
Yeah, but are they, though? Did we know that?
What? She's in it.
Okay. Oh.
She's definitely in it. So,
Yeah?
yeah. It's there must be some sort of reason, you know, of why we didn't get the information we probably needed.
But
In
I
Ant-Man
don't
2.
know. I think they're going to do everything they can to fucking forget those first two movies ever existed. That's why we're moving away from comedy, mate.
But look, if we're looking at tomato meter, we're the minority here, clearly.
That's very true, mate.
You know. Speaking of which, dear listener, if you're listening to this and you're going, "Oh my god, these guys are chatting absolute bollocks," and you enjoyed the movie, please, honestly, give us a message, give us a DM, an email at don'tbeahero@podcast@gmail.com, because your voices are needing to be heard. Because this is the thing. I like I said at the beginning of this pod, I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to go, okay, cool. There's a reason why this movie sits where it sits after Infinity War. What does it give me to further the story? And then I know this is the kind of grow up that I've had with Phase 4. You know, what is the story? What's the thread? What is that golden thread? And it obviously doesn't get played until the very, very, very last moments, until the movie is over into the end credits. But yeah, give us your thoughts.
I think we might have some thoughts from our very own Ed, who's
fantastic.
a big fan. He does mention he sent us a whole. Shall I read out an email?
Oh, just do it.
Let's read out an email, and I believe he mentions Ant-Man at some point during this. Once when I get through the whole email and realise he hasn't.
Hi Boris, how are you? I'm good.
We'll put him on the cutting room floor. But thank you, Ed, for this email. So it's entitled "Why is Gamora?" So it doesn't start off hopeful. It's going to be Ant-Man related, but why is Gamora? So he says, "Evening and Happy New Year, marvelous, very nice, nicely done, marvelous men of ear whispering. I meant to write this before Christmas, but you know, Christmas. Thanks for podding along with the Phases Marvel and the Wildcard films. Can't believe you're almost at the end of Phase 3. Neither can we. Months
it's crazy.
have been flying by. So, Infinity War, he says, epic film. I think it's the MCU's best output. As you both covered, it moves at a rapid pace and is relentless. There's not a dull moment in it, and you feel the stakes the whole way through. His favourite Infinity Stone taking moment has to be Vision's Mind Stone, the most brutal of them all.
Yeah.
We have to watch that sexy robot die twice.
He is a sexy robot.
He is a sexy robot. You know, that's it. The sex fest. He's bringing the sex to the MCU. Because neither us this morning, I'll tell you that. Once by the hand of his lover, and then watch his head caved in by Quality Street's favourite purple one. That's amazing. Like I said, brutal. My first big cheer moment is when Cap turns up, all beardy and hench. I definitely questioned my sexuality during that Edinburgh fight scene.
I mean, yep.
Didn't we all?
Oh yeah.
His beard is based on the character Nomad, which Steve Rogers becomes in the books after leaving the Avengers.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I
There
believe
you
you
go.
did ask, didn't you? Did you
I
mention
did.
that?
I did. Yeah.
Next big cheer moment. Thor's entrance from space to Wakanda with Rocket and Groot when he war cries, "Bring me Thanos!" I was completely in agreement with what Bruce Banner said when they dropped. I love that. I love that. I fucking
It's a good moment.
it is, mate. Other things to say. Oh, he does get to Ant-Man. Yeah. Other things to add about Infinity War. Tom Holland makes me cry every time Spider-Man gets dusted. What does
Yeah.
dusted mean?
Snapped.
Gotcha. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I was like, dusted. Is this slang of the 21st century I don't know about? When Groot says "I am Groot" to Rocket before getting dusted, it means father. Oh,
Mm.
that crushes me. Um, yeah. No, hang on.
You
Hang
just literally. Yep.
Hang on. No, but isn't that the wrong way around though?
What? Say again?
He says when Groot says "I am Groot" to Rocket. Oh, before Groot gets dusty. Yeah, good, cool. Yeah, okayers shade at Bruce stacking it in the Hulk Buster. Yeah, lovely moment. Great. Listen to my favourite Marvel movie being discussed, but I disagree that Captain Marvel should have been next. Oh, Captain Mark, right. Fuck
Mate,
me.
you okay?
Honestly,
You're right, Forrest.
I'm having a mild stroke reading this fucking email. I apologise profusely, Ed. This is not on you at all, mate. I can't seem to read an email for shit. Which
Okay.
Right.
All right, Forrest. Are you all right, mate?
I'm all right. We'll go back. Let's go back. Great listen to my favourite Marvel movie being discussed, but I disagree that Captain Marvel should have been the next film because it's set in the 90s and doesn't really join. I actually think Ant-Man and the Wasp was a lovely tonic. Oh, Ed. A lovely tonic to the serious storyline of Infinity War. Yeah, fair enough. I know Ant-Man isn't your bag, but if you look across the varied genres that make up the MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp films have been the family movies. They're very light and aimed at a broader audience. And seriously, revisit the briefcase fight scene in the first Ant-Man. It's one of the better fights in the 30-plus movie franchise.
Those are really good points, and this is the thing. This is why Marvel and MCU have got the buckets of money that they have, and the amount of deals that they've got in terms of content and movies and now TV shows that are coming out. They are tailoring their content to a variety of audiences.
Yes,
and I agree that Ant-Man is a family orientated cinema viewing for people. I know, and this is the thing, like I think maybe Captain Marvel actually wasn't wouldn't have been the best choice to go straight after Infinity War, because it is a 90s movie, and it couldn't be any further than disconnected to actually what's happened immediately after. But not to say that maybe we needed something else in there that maybe wasn't in the slate in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I suppose my argument to the kind of not having Captain Marvel because of the 90s, my argument would be, well, surely in equal measure, if you're saying that it's fine to juxtapose Infinity War with a family film straight after it, then how is that any different to juxtaposing it by travelling back into the 90s? So I understand, but I think actually Captain and Marvel for me, I would have swiped Ant-Man and the Wasp away and put that into dust. That should have been dusted.
It should have been dusted.
And just had Captain Marvel in the middle, straight back. Let's go back into Endgame.
Straight into it. Yeah, to be honest, and be really like, this is a standalone thing. We need to introduce Captain Marvel, blah blah blah, blah, and then it can tie in maybe for the last third of the movie, and then boom, you're off you go.
And
Yeah,
I think they could have had fun with that in an almost Guardians nature, where at the very beginning of Captain Marvel, you could have had the whole kind of like we're seeing the last scene of Infinity War play out, and then well, no, you can see the end credit scene because that's when we see Samuel Jackson pick up the Captain Marvel thing anyway, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
so. You literally play that scene, and then it just goes, and it like backtracks in time, and then we get the first scene of Captain Marvel. Would be quite nice.
That's nice. There you go.
Yeah, see, then you play Captain Marvel, and then it goes, and it goes straight like all the Avengers together. Absolute wild scene. End of film.
Mate, I can imagine you in a pitching room right now
Yeah.
with Marvel.
Right, right, Kevin. Listen, we go. Dush. Thank you very much. I see myself out.
Oh god. We need to. I'm not going to wrap the movie up right now, but I do feel like we're getting there. But there are certain things we still haven't managed to talk about.
Is
Now,
there?
but with a certain characters, we haven't really spoken about Lawrence Fishburne's role as Dr. Foster,
Yeah.
Bill Foster, not to be mistaken of the other scientist Foster, which is it's quite funny, isn't it? Because you're like, oh, there's two Fosters. What's the connection there? There is no connection,
Well,
other than the fact that they're just both clever people.
mm,
Now, in the comics, I think Bill Foster is Goliath. In I think I don't know whether they get in control of the Pym particle, and then it kind of goes the opposite end. Basically, they become um, bigger than smaller,
mm,
or being able to control going smaller. But like, there's little motive, I think, from Lawrence Fishburne's character, but I think they had an opportunity to again. This is one of those things where I'm like, it could have been a good TV show. Could have been a
yeah.
good TV show. Let's go into the past, do a 3-part, 4-part TV series where we see the creation of the Pym particle, Pym tech, Hank Pym. We get Foster. We get their relationship. Maybe we see them, see him becomes Ant-Man and Foster becomes Goliath, and then they become this kind of like two best friends, all gone wrong. Now they hate each other. Big fight at the end. Boom, 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 boom. Could have been a potential
Yeah, definitely.
opportunity for
That's
something
it.
there.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it got missed there. I think just, you know, though that's the only thing really in terms of characters, mate. I wanted to say in terms of like plot. I don't want to talk about plot anymore. I I am disappointed by this movie, unfortunately, but because it just didn't really hold much.
Mm,
I don't know. There were moments Rachel watched it with me, and she just sort of sat there and she went, "What? What? Why this movie? Why is
yeah.
that happening?" Like the moments, even when like the buildings shrank. You know, when the buildings shrank, and like somebody must have saw that. You're in a busy street. Like you're
Yeah.
somebody has seen a fucking massive building shrink down to a suitcase size, and then do nothing about it. Nothing's being said. Like,
Mm.
there were certain things that I just kind of go, oh, I don't understand. I just don't understand the motives. I don't
And
understand.
and I'm right in thinking, yeah. Well, no, no. Thanos' snap happens at the end of the movie, doesn't it? Because we see Hank and Janet
Yeah,
dissolve, right?
yeah,
So but that is at the end of Infinity War. Now, during the contents of Infinity War, loads of the Earth or not loads of the Earth, but Thanos has come to Earth, right? During that period, during the film, there's been loads of fights. So you can imagine, right? What I'm getting at, you can imagine that news coverage, certainly in America, would be fairly busy reporting about that,
yeah,
right? A lot of like mystery going on. It's all about the Avengers. Like news would be busy, and yet at the end of this film, the news are focusing on Ant-Man being large in a body of water and passing out. So, and there's like loads of there's loads of helicopters, there's loads of stuff going on, right? And Hank Pym at the time is what is it Hank Pym? No, who's watching the TV at the time? Who's seeing the news article? Is it
Uh,
the copper? Is it Jimmy? Might be
yeah, I
Jimmy
think it might
Wood.
be Jimmy. Yeah,
Jimmy
yeah, it
Wood.
is. It is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
because that's why they didn't go investigate whether
Yeah,
Scott's in the house, right? So, and I'm like, yeah, I've got a small feeling that they might also be watching all of the shit that's also going on quite close by with Thanos.
yeah.
I'm like, and we don't get any nod to that. Like you would have thought, like in the same vein they did it with um, She-Hulk. You know the news ticker where the news ticker had like loads of information about other events,
Yeah.
right? So you would have thought in the news ticker it would be like, I don't know, Avengers fight. Avengers have
I think,
reformed for this fight or whatever.
or yeah, like Avengers scene in Edinburgh.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly that. And yet nothing. No, like this whole film was supposed to completely ignore the fact that fucking chaos is brewing everywhere else.
yeah, again, yeah. We don't really understand at what point in the timeline when all of these events happened. But all we do know is that Scott Lang is serving house arrest because he broke the Sokovian Accords.
So it's over days, right? It's
Yeah,
not
it's
over.
over
It's not.
days.
It's not weeks or months. It's literal days, and ends with the snap at the end of the film. So the events of Infinity War must be happening in some way during this entire film.
Yeah.
Unless we're supposed to believe literally the contents in the entirety of Infinity War happens in one day, which we know isn't the case.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Edinburgh's set at night for one. So
I've got nothing else to say.
no, I think I'm Ant-Man and the Wasp out, mate. I've got to be honest.
I've got nothing, mate. I'm all Ant-Man'd out.
I'm Ant-Man out. We've got Captain Marvel next.
But to finish just quickly,
yeah,
the hype around Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is huge. Like, and it's completely on Kang, and it's the reason why is Kang and the story of Kang and MCU saying that
MODOK as well.
MODOK as well. They're like, this is all going to play into the next phases. This is a very important watch for everyone. And every time I think this is what it says about this second movie. Every time I've Googled Ant-Man and the Wasp, or just trying to get like Easter egg videos, look at some facts, just do a little bit of research over this movie, it always got trumped over Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then immediately went to Quantumania.
Yeah.
So, like, even this movie is being erased from existence, being overshadowed by the third one. That's not even out yet.
I'm still very, very cautious about Quantumania, though. I am.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, Kang's brilliant. I'm not convinced yet. I don't think, but I think this is the film where it's got to convince us, right? Anyway, and also, I'm a little bit wary about the amount of footage that has been released about this film. To the point where Marvel recently released a trailer where it basically felt like you just watched the entire film.
When you get trailers like that, sometimes it's a bit worrying.
And I'm like, what? You are feeding me the entire film to show me what I believe to be two things. One, this is nothing like Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant-Man, so please come and fucking see it.
Yeah.
And two, there really isn't much to this film. But we've got to, we really need to convince you.
Yeah.
And because there was so much trailer footage, and almost all of the footage looks like the identical same scene. It just looks like Kang's pleading with Ant-Man, Ant-Man's pleading with Kang. Something brutal is going to happen somewhere, and then that's it. I'm just, and that's why I'm a bit. I don't know about Hank and I don't know about Janet, because I'm like, yeah, they might be in it, but I really don't feel like they're going to be a big part of it. Especially if Marvel want to depart from the first two films, they want to get as far away from Hank as possible. I'd have thought, but
Mm, mm.
who
Yeah,
knows?
it's true. Who knows? It's coming out in a few weeks.
Yep,
We'll have to go and see it. I think we've booked our tickets already, haven't we?
we have
We have
indeed.
indeed. Oh,
Can I wait for a cinema trip with you, Matt?
it's gonna be great.
So excited.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Okay, mate. Let's do a rating. What are you gonna give this out of the contents of a crisp bag?
I am contents of a crisp bag. This is
It's so stupid, isn't it?
this is gonna
When
be
you think about it, when you really think about it, it's fucking silly.
oh the I this is I'll tell you what this is. This is going. You've gone on holiday. You're
Yeah,
having a whale of a time.
yeah.
You sat there. You're going, right. I'm going to go to that little corner shop. I fancy a snack. I'm sunbathing. It's a delicious day. Oh, what a variety of crisps I have in front of me. All with a name I do not understand or know what is in the packet. And
Right.
you've gone, right. That looks mildly like it might be, a Walker's bag of crisps. That should be either salt and vinegar or ready salted. We are just about have ready salted. Ready salted is like nice. It's not a necessary treat, but it'll do.
No.
You
Yeah.
pick it up, you grab it, you take it to where you need to pay. You paid for it. You walked out. It's still beaming sunshine. Oh, I'm going to sit down. Let me pop open this bag of crisps.
Oh yeah.
You've opened it.
Oh.
It's only fucking cheese and onion.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No.
You've gone worst case scenario.
Oh.
That's this film.
Wow.
It's the holiday cheese and onion bag of crisps. So for me,
Which is good. Which is good because some people like fucking my kids love cheese and onion crisps.
I'll go well for it. And this is the thing with this film. For kids
Mate.
and for some people, this will be great.
Perfect metaphor. The literal perfect metaphor. Okay, here's mine, all right? So you've just enjoyed your best packet of crisps ever, and you're like, oh my God, that tasted absolutely flipping incredible. But you know what? I'm greedy. I'm just a little bit peckish. So I'm gonna go out to the shop and I'm gonna grab myself another packet of crisps. So you go, and you're gonna go, oh, I might go get the same one. I might go get the same packet I've just enjoyed. Okay, I have a little look, and you go, do you know what? There's this packet down here at the bottom left that I haven't had for a while. And I do remember it tasting it once and being a little bit disappointed by it. But you know what? I'm going to give it a just dues. I'm going to give it another go. You go to it. You pay for it. You open up the packet of crisps. You take one bite and you realise why you didn't have them again. And then you're like, you know what? I was right with my first thoughts there, and I'm right with my second one. Didn't really hit the mark. I should have stayed with the previous packet. That's my metaphor.
Genius. And how full is your packet?
Oh, it's about a third.
Yeah, mine's about 10%.
Wow.
Yeah, 10%.
Okay.
It's just not. This is just not me. It's not a bit of me. Didn't enjoy myself. 2 hours. I would have preferred to sit and look at a wall, and I'll never get back. So, but thanks so much, Matt. I blame you. No, yeah. So, but I am genuinely excited to get my little teeth back into Captain Marvel. Well, that sounds that metaphor was not. I'm going to take that straight back. I'm looking forward to watching Captain Marvel. That'd be
I think I'm again with any movie that we're doing, we're always going with the fresh face, with the fresh kind of like look into it. I think there are issues with this movie, but like I think overall, I'd be interested to see what my thoughts are. I think the third time I've watched it, I think it will be. So yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you, dear listener, for listening, and do make sure you keep up on all of our social media stuff. We've got Instagram on Don't Be a Hero Podcast. We've got the TikTok. That's also Don't Be a Hero Podcast, I think.
Yes.
We've got Twitter, which is DBAH. You can find us on the old tweets, and also we are on the YouTube. We're actually opening. We're now starting to sort of upload extended clips as well on certain episodes. It won't be every episode, but there'll be kind of video attachments. Took me a while, mate. I'll be honest. Took me a few hours, but it's fine.
I don't think it will be this one either. I'm not
You never
sure.
know.
Yeah, Well, we'll tease some goodness out of this.
You never know. But as well, dear listener, if you are still listening as well, we super appreciate you listening to the whole episode. And seeing as you've been, I think if you've reached this long, you are the dedicated, dear listener. So I appreciate you. Much love for you. But also, please do make sure you rate our podcast as we go through every episode every film episode, TV episode when we get to phase 4. But like whenever we get there, do make sure you finish with this episode and give it a rate. Make sure you rate our podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the types of streaming networks that you collect your old podcasts. Give us a rating because it does go a long way. Appreciate you.
It does indeed. I appreciate it too. I appreciate you, Matt.
Do you want something for me to play you out, mate?
Oh, I do, please, mate. I always do.
Okie dokies. So I've got a little poem.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish everybody their listening pleasure on our episode of Ant-Man and the Wasp with a little ant-related poem. Oh, hello.
Oh,
Is that you?
that was me vibrating. I was so excited for the poem.
Excuse me. Okay, here we go. Such a little thing we call the ant. It seems he has no word for can't. They'll climb. Wait, I'm not done. They'll climb up, over, around, and through. It seems there is nothing ants can't do. They never quit. They never stay. They always find another way to get to where they need to go. I wonder how they seem to know. This bug so small, this tiny speck, can teach us all how to earn respect. You take care of yourself, dear listener.